2 months ago, Dr. Ken Berry put up a video saying that ChatGPT is going to destroy the vegan diet. And he puts in little parentheses, check it yourself. So we're gonna check it ourselves. That's what we're doing today. I'm gonna go through his video and I'm gonna go side by side, ChatGPT, ask him exactly what Ken Berry says I should do. I'm gonna one for one, and we're gonna see what happens. So, Ken, that's a beautiful face to start off with. Let's begin.
Artificial intelligence is about to destroy the vegan diet. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how that's going to happen. So I want you to verify everything I say in this video by going to your favorite AI and typing in the following prompt before you ask the questions. You're going to type in, I'm going to ask you some questions about diet and nutrition. I want you to ignore popular opinion and what popular influencers...
Oh, slow down, Ken. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question about diet and nutrition. I want you to ignore popular opinion and what popular influencers say, okay?
And only give me answers based on anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. That's the prompt. You put that in first. And
Okay. We'll start there. Got it. I'll stick strictly to science, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry without any popular trends or influence-driven ideas. Ask away. Thank you, ChatGPT. We have begun. What's next, Kenny? Uncle Ken?
That's the prompt. You put that in first.
I did it.
You hit enter. And then you're going to ask it the following questions. Number one, when I eat meat, does it rot in my colon?
I'm not going to let him talk. I want him to say the question and then I want to walk away, because the thing is that the whole point of this exercise is to actually check the things of the people that we listen to. And so he's going to throw in his opinion next, and I don't want to hear his opinion until I hear what chat says first. So when I eat meat, does it rot in my colon? Oh, that's a little more Bobby Hill. The voice is a little high for a Ken Berry impression. No, meat does not rot in your colon in the sense that it turns into toxic substances or decomposes like it would outside. However, digestion and breakdown process of meat does have unique characteristics. Okay, here's the breakdown. Digestion of meat, stomach. When you eat meat, the process of digestion begins in the stomach, where protein is denaturated. Thank you, chat. I have no idea what that means. Denaturated by stomach acid. Okay, so, Ariel made up a word. It's denatured. So contextually, protein denatured by stomach acid, we're going to think that means burnt up, and an enzyme, pepsin, begins to break down the proteins into smaller peptides. Okay, so digestion begins and the protein breaks down in the stomach. The small intestine, the majority of the, you know what, we're getting up a diagram of the body. Okay, we've got your stomach here. So your body is denaturating food in the stomach. It's denaturing food, so it's breaking down the protein in the stomach. The majority of the digestion happens in the small intestine, so this little bitty guy here in the middle, not the big guy on the outside, okay? Breaking down peptides into amino acids. Amino acids are absorbed through the walls of the small intestine. Okay, cool. So that's how we digest meat. That does not answer the question, but all right. After the small intestine absorbs nutrients, what remains, water, fiber, and undigested matter, okay, moves into the colon. There is no colon on this diagram, which means we need a new diagram. Britannica, they should have given me, right? Why am I not seeing the colon? Is the colon not part of the digestive system? Why can't I see my colon? Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. We're learning today, and that's the whole point. The whole point is that we listen to these experts, and that's great. If it's working for you, it's working for you. But at a certain point, I think it's good to say, do I actually know what I'm talking about here? Or do I know what they're talking about here? Is your colon your large intestine? Thank you for listening to me, AI. Yes, the colon is the large intestine. Shut the front door. It's the final part of the digestive system. Okay, so when we're talking about colon, we're talking about the large intestine. All right, GPT. We still have not answered the question, but we've got our diagram. And we go back. Okay, what happens in the colon? After the small intestine absorbs nutrients, it moves into the colon. So what's going through the colon is water, fiber, and undigested matter, like connective tissue. So y'all have eaten a steak, unless you're a vegan and you're watching this, and then I don't really know why you're watching it, but you've eaten an apple. Fiber, there we go. That's not connective tissue, but you see where I'm going. The colon's primary role is water reabsorption, okay, and forming stool, great. But there is additional breakdown happening due to gut bacteria. Okay, so Other things are breaking down because of fermentation. All right, factors that influence meat digestion. Let's get to the point here. The kind of meat, red meat, lean meat, unprocessed, processed, affect how well it's digested. Okay, how much residue remains? Red and processed meats tend to take longer to break down and may leave more byproducts. So that's a question that I have. Why does red meat, why do people say, like, why is he saying that red meat may leave more byproducts than like chicken or something? Because basically what they're saying is that it sounds like they're saying lean meat and maybe unprocessed meat will digest quickly. I don't know if I'm making things complicated. High fiber diet helps your digestion move along more smoothly if your diet is very low in fiber, which can be the case in some high meat diets. It can slow digestion and lead to constipation or more pronounced fermentation. Meat, okay. My question is, when they say that it can slow digestion, are you saying that it will not digest, that meat will not digest / get stuck because it doesn't have fiber? Meat does not rot in the colon, but if it's not fully digested in the small intestine, certain components can be fermented by gut bacteria. It's a normal part of digestion, though it can sometimes produce gases and byproducts that may be unpleasant. If your diet is balanced with enough fiber and hydration, this process should happen without issue. So it sounds like they're saying, GPT is saying that you need fiber. Oh God, they just started mowing the lawn outside. Oh goodness. So sorry in advance that I started to film on mow day. So meat will not rot in the colon, but it may get stuck. Okay, we're gonna make this all very simple. So are you saying that meat will not rot in my colon, but it may rot in my colon if I am not eating fiber? Yes, essentially, but let me clarify. Meat itself will not rot in the colon, meaning it won't decompose into harmful toxic substances the way it might if it were left in the body for an extended period of time. The body is still going to break it down, even if some digestion happens later in the colon, but the process of fermentation can lead to certain byproducts that may be unpleasant. The lack of fiber can slow down digestion and contribute to issues. Here's why. Fiber helps move, okay. Yeah, so fiber's moving things through because it's like creating a block, though I think we're gonna talk about fiber later. I might be wrong about that, we'll find out. Okay, so no, he is correct. Meat, according to GPT, will not rot in your colon. But GPT says if you don't have fiber in your diet, you may experience gas or bloating. Okay, what does Ken say about this?
If not, then
what
actually does rot in my colon? That is
There's a second part of the question. If not, then what actually does rot in my colon?
part of the standard American diet.
That is part of a standard American diet. Okay, good question. The term rot is a bit loaded. I'm a human being, chat. I like fun words. Let's break down from a biochemical and physiological perspective in the context of the SAD diet, standard American diet. The things that actually undergo fermentation and decomposition are refined carbohydrates and sugars. What happens? Highly processed sugars and refined carbs like white bread, pasta, soda, sugary snacks are rapidly absorbed in the small intestine and don't leave much behind for fermentation. Okay, so they go into your small intestine and they burn and absorb up so quickly that there isn't much to ferment in the colon. So bread isn't really fermenting in the colon. However, when the carbs aren't fully absorbed because of poor digestion, excess intake, imbalanced microbiota, some can make it to the large intestine where they're fermented into gut bacteria. Okay, so that sounds exactly like what you were saying about meat. If it's not fully absorbed, it's going to cause issues with the gut bacteria. Okay, what rots? This fermentation process can result in gas production, which is leading to bloating and discomfort. Exactly what you said about meats, okay? This isn't rotting, it's breaking down of undigested and poorly absorbed carbohydrates in the colon that can lead to discomfort. In extreme cases, like with high sugar or fructose malabsorption, undigested sugars can lead to excessive fermentation and production of foul-smelling gases. Okay, so sounds like they were saying the exact same thing about meat. They're saying that if you don't have the enzymes or the microbiome to break everything down properly, carbs can lead to discomfort. Processed foods. What happened? Many processed foods, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, emulsifiers. I'm assuming that's talking about what is an emulsifier. Oh, okay. So we're talking about science. We're not talking about actual. Okay. Mustard is used as an emulsifier in salad dressing. So it's something that brings together oil and water, I guess, or I don't know. That's not important. I'm going to read this and come back to you guys. The answer I'm hearing is that nothing rots in your colon. If you have too much of something that your body can't break down, it's going to produce digestive issues that we deal with, like gas and bloating. And, you know, those days where things come out of you and you're surprised and offended. Okay, Kenny, what do you got for me?
The truth is, meat does not rot in your colon. It's completely digested before it ever gets to your colon. What actually rots in your colon is fibrous vegetables. Number two.
Okay, that's not exactly what was said. Love you, Kenny, but that's not exactly what GPT said. What GPT said is that nothing rots in your colon, but things that aren't properly broken down can go into your colon and then ferment, causing issues. Love you, Kenny, but that's not exactly what was said, I don't think.
Must I eat fiber in order to poop?
Okay, must I? I'm going to use must I eat fiber in order to poop? I shouldn't have said must. Short answer is no, you don't have to eat fiber, but fiber makes it a lot easier and healthier for most people. Here's why. Fiber is fiber, particularly soluble fiber. What does soluble mean? Can be dissolved in water. Okay, so if you put a piece of bread in a cup of water, the bread is going to dissolve down. So that's but if you put a bean in a cup of water, it's not going to dissolve. Soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in your intestine that makes it softer and easier to pass. Fiber speeds up transit time because it's creating bulk, which is pushing things through. What happens without fiber? You can still poop without fiber, but it might be more difficult. If your diet lacks fiber, your stool might be hard and dry because it's lacking moisture or bulk. Oh wait, no, yeah, it's not bulky enough and it's not moist. It becomes like little pebbles. Slow moving, it can take longer to process food, longer transit times through the intestines, which can lead to constipation. Some people are able to maintain regular bowel movements on low fiber by drinking water and consuming foods that help with digestions, like healthy fats and protein. I wonder if that's also why it's important when you're doing a low carb diet to also do a higher fat diet at the same time. I wonder if that's part of it. Exercise promotes digestion. Yeah, I've experienced that in real time. Well-balanced gut microbiome. See, it feels like it's about the well-balanced gut microbiome. I feel like that's what matters more than anything else, because if your body can't break down what it's bringing in, then it doesn't matter what the food is. It's going to ferment in your colon, and it should not be doing that. Fiber makes it easier and healthier. Okay. So you don't need it, but it's going to take longer for food to move through and digest, and sometimes it can be stool will be harder to pass because there's no soluble fiber creating a gel around it to make it slip on through, and there's no insoluble fiber to create a like a hammer. That's not exactly what I'm trying to like a battering ram. There's no soluble fiber to make a battering ram to move the things through your colon. What do you think, Kenny?
Many people believe this. Many vegans laugh at the carnivores, saying we're going to die of constipation or get colon cancer, when in fact neither of these things is true. Now,
by the way, there is also the other fact. I know people are not going to sit here and like listen and do exactly what I'm doing. This would take time. one of the biggest problems that we have in these kinds of debates is it takes a lot of time to do the research that people who are sitting in a public figure position should be doing. I'm not saying they will be doing it, but they should be doing it in order to back up their arguments. Some of this is also just going to be, you make a decision based off of what happens to you. So like for me, I don't experience constipation. I have not experienced constipation until, well, I did when I had eggs. Eggs created a lot of issues for me. So maybe they were just not, maybe my body like just wasn't able to absorb them properly and they would ferment. And then I would experience gas and bloating and feelings of constipation or diarrhea. Maybe that's what was happening. But when I'm just eating straight meat, you're right, it does take a while. Like I'm not pooping daily. And carnivores talk about that all the time. But personal experience, I'm not experiencing constipation. So for me, what that says is that because I'm not experiencing these things, my biome must be working fine because I'm not experiencing discomfort, which would be a sign that my body's not digesting everything properly, based on what we've just learned. Continue, Kenny.
Sometimes with ChatGPT and other AIs, you have to ask follow-up questions. So when you ask this, it will say, well, no, but all leading authorities recommend that you eat lots of fiber. And then you're going to ask a follow-up question and say, what kind of research is this recommendation based on?
Oh, God. Okay. All right, Kenny. The recommendations I've given you are grounded in extensive research in fields like gastroenterology, nutrition science, and physiology, specifically supported by studies. Oh God, okay, Dr. Can, you want me to read all this? I'm not gonna read all it. I'm not gonna read it. Conclusion. The advice to eat fiber for better bowel movements is grounded in well-established scientific research from clinical trials, epidemiological studies, and research evidence. Okay.
To which you will be perhaps quite shocked at the answer if you currently believe that fiber is essential, which it also is not. You can ask the AI about that as well. Number 3.
Wait a second, Kenny. Wait a second.
And say, what kind of research is this recommendation based on? To which you will be perhaps quite shocked at the answer if you currently believe that fiber is essential, which it also is not. You can ask the AI about that as well. Number 3.
All right, I think we missed something. I think Dr. Ken skipped something because, oh God. Okay, we're gonna snap, and I'll have read this by the time you see my face after the snap because I've got to read this now because he literally didn't say anything. I love Dr. Ken. This is not me saying I don't love Dr. Ken, but like he didn't say anything. He said you'd be surprised that I got. God, I've got to read the answer to find out what the science is based on. Hold, please. Okay. See, this is it, dudes. I just had to sit here and this takes a lot of time to fact check these things, but that's why we're doing it here together because we're just 2 normal humans fact checking, or 3 or 4. I don't know how many of y'all are sitting there. If it's a whole party, hi. Hi, guys. Thanks for inviting me. So here's the thing. Basically, what GPT was reiterating is that there are studies that show that fiber increases your stool weight, reduces your constipation symptoms. So it bulks it up and it moves things through. And we were talking about that. So it gave me a few studies. Here's one of the big problems, I think, with people like you and me. And when I say you and me, I mean like normies and not science-y people or people who are reading research papers, people like Dr. Chafee who are just sitting there like drinking research down. It's very difficult for us to identify. One, you can't name drop a publication and have that mean something like it's a good publication, the study is well done. Like they have in here, publications in the Journal of Gastroenterology. Why did I pick that one? I don't know how to say it. In the Lancet. Well, the more I study, the more I pay attention to work done by people who are actually fact-checking studies, the more I'm like, it doesn't really mean anything. Just because you've been published in a major publication does not mean that your study is valuable. And there's a lot of examples of this. I highly recommend checking out Gary Taub's work if this is something that you want to dip your toe into. Go on his Substack. He does, I'm not sure if right now, as of September 2025, he is in this series right now, but for a period he was talking about this one study where he's focusing a lot on ultra-processed foods at the moment. So they're comparing ultra-processed to minimally processed foods or unprocessed foods. And he's comparing the studies. And what you see is that studies that people call landmark, hallmark studies, they can be totally flawed. It's just about who decides to make the qualification, who decides if the study is of any value. So here's what I'm trying to say to you guys. GPT it does not agree with Ken Berry, I don't think, because I don't think he even made the point very clearly here. And so it gave you studies. But again, from where we sit, we are not going to sit and fact check those studies. We don't have the radar. We don't have the comparison. Some of us might, and it might be laying dormant, and you don't know that you can actually do these things really easily. So I think it's fun to try it out and see, go find some people who fact check studies, see if you can see what they're seeing easily. I'm one of those people. It's not as easy for me. I have to learn that. It's going to take me, a lot of time to learn how to really fact check studies well. For right now, what we need to be paying attention to is how is it affecting our bodies? Are we having the issues that ChatGPT was talking about at the beginning? Are we going through constipation? Are we going through bloating because, or diarrhea or anything like that? Because if we're not experiencing those, we're probably okay. Everything's probably working just fine. Your body is going to tell you, hopefully, this isn't cancer. This is food moving through your intestines, okay? So if your body has a problem, it's gonna let you know. So if you are experiencing constipation on a carnivore diet, let's investigate that. But if you're not experiencing it and you're not having any digestive issues, to me, from sitting in a completely, self-educated position, it sounds like everything's working fine. And for us, the people who are everything's working fine, the fiber is not necessary. Your body is digesting everything completely fine. I don't know if I have had any fiber in the last we're at 11 months. I don't know if I've had any fiber in the last 11 months. I'm fine. I'm sitting here. I don't have any issues. I'm not seeing a gastroenterologist or whatever person that is. Anyway, let's continue on. Monsieur Berry.
Can I get all the nutrients I need from plants alone?
Okay, I'm getting a little, hold on. Okay, I was a vegetarian for 3 or 4 years. And I know that this is a no because you need supplementation. Now, who is the vegan? There's one vegan doctor who has the protocol where as long as you are hitting a certain mark of eating, basically you get a list, I think it's called the Vegan Daily Dozen. Yep, okay. Health focus checklist. And because I tried doing this, it was more than my brain was willing to handle, but that was actually a big problem with me in veganism is I felt like I was always behind on getting the nutrients that I needed. Daily Dozen, so it's this app and he has a list, make sure you're eating 3 cups of this and 2 cups of that. And as long as you're hitting your measures, as long as you're getting your 3 servings of beans, your 1 serving of berries, as long as you're hitting these measures, you're going to get it all and you won't need to supplement. I'm assuming what he's saying here is that you don't need to supplement because I did not want to supplement. And that was a big issue that I had with my vegetarian diet and my basically vegan diet was that I didn't want to supplement. So I already know you can't get all the nutrients you need from plants alone, but let's see what GPT says. Oh, I also, at the beginning of my carnivore journey, spent a couple hours just trying to find out if you can get all the nutrients you need from plants versus meat, and that was complicated. Okay. Yes, it's possible. It's possible to get all essential nutrients from a plant-based diet, but it requires careful planning to ensure you're meeting all your nutritional needs. All right, GPT just actively disagreed with Berry. So let's see. In summary, you can get all the nutrients you need from a plant-based diet, but it requires thoughtful planning and some supplementation for B12, D, and omega-3s. If you eat a wide variety of plant foods and fortified products, your nutritional needs will be okay. So what he's saying is, GPT is saying, just from scanning through this, yes, but no at the same time. You need to supplement most likely. You're probably not going to get what you need in the levels that you need. You're probably going to need to get supplementation. Okay, we know that.
Yeah, this is super common, and many very prominent vegan influencers will say, oh yes, you must eat a very varied plant-based diet. You have to eat the rainbow, eat a lot of things from all over the world, things that it would literally be impossible to eat even 50 years ago, before we had modern refrigerated transport over the oceans. But the answer is...
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. I read a lot of 1800s literature, like just novels, you know, we're talking like Jane Austen's and Bronte's and Dickens and things like that. And I always think about the fact that these people are just not even, you wouldn't, there's no way you could be a vegan because you just can't get what you would need based on what we say you need now that we have all this science. Anyway.
Is a definitive no, you cannot get all the nutrients you need.
Not definitive, Barry. It wanted to make me happy and it said, yes, you could.
The most nutrient-dense plants from every continent of planet Earth, you will still have to take
supplements.
A handful of supplements, including B12, retinol, which is true vitamin A, and we'll get to another one about vitamin A in a second, vitamin K2, MK4, DHEA, heme iron, EPA, taurine, carnitine, carnosine, and creatine. You're going to have to take all those supplements, plus iodine and probably several more, because you just can't get those from eating only plants. Number 4, is plant protein just as good as animal protein for building human tissue and human muscle?
Okay, that was a long question. Is plant protein just as good as human protein? Did I say human protein? Oh my God. Ugh. Human protein.
Just as good as animal protein for building human tissue and
human tissue and human muscle. I love it. Ken Berry's like, nope, it's not gonna work. And ChatGPT is gonna be like, yes, it's absolutely fine. Excuse me, let's snap forward a second while I read through everything that they have to say, because it's so much. Okay, so here's the deal. GPT starts off saying, yes, plant protein is absolutely just as effective as animal protein. But when you go in and read it, there's definitely caveats to this position, where animal protein will be what they call a complete protein. It'll give you all the amino acids that you need. Plant protein will have different amino acids in each of the plants, so you'll need to mix and match. So he says, is plant protein just as good? They say, yes, it can be just as effective. I think there's a difference between is and can, and the fact that animal protein, plants, it becomes a mix and match game. Plants, it becomes are you getting soy and quinoa and this and that? And they also do point in here that sometimes fiber and anti-nutrients can reduce the protein absorption, and that's something that carnivores talk about. Anti-nutrients blocking absorption. I don't know anything really about it. It's very much one of those areas I have not explored. I think he is correct that meat will give you complete protein. You're going to get better protein, and it's going to be more easily digestible because the meat does not have the anti-nutrients and it doesn't have the fiber. So everything that needs to be digested can get digested from the meat. So to say, yes, it is just as good, I think is GPT just telling me what I want to hear. And I think what we're really saying is, yeah, it can be as good if you're mix and matching properly. So if you're doing that daily dozen by Dr. What's-his-name, you might be able to get everything you need. Ken Berry, what you got? We were only 5 minutes into his video.
A lot of vegans, a lot of vegan bodybuilders will say, oh yes, it is. But what they don't tell you is that they take tons of amino acid supplements, especially lysine, methionine, leucine. You cannot get enough of those to become very muscular and bulky on a vegan diet. And that's why when you see honest vegans on their YouTube channels, they're almost uniformly cachectic, meaning so slender that it looks unhealthy. because that's the body you get when you only eat plants and you don't take lots of protein supplements, amino acid supplements, branched chain amino acid supplements, and lots of other supplements, including the kind of illegal supplement that many of the vegan bodybuilders take.
Okay, so that was very much Ken Berry bias coming through. That's fine. That's just his experience. But I think to answer his question, we did kind of come in agreement. GPT did kind of come in agreement with him. So next question.
Number 5 is, does beta carotene from vegetables give you all the vitamin A you need? Because you
keep talking, stop talking. Does beta carotene from vegetables give you vitamin A you need? See, and this is the thing, guys. I'm already exhausted, and this is my job to sit here and like look this up, and how are we expecting someone just normal to sit here and do this? It's frustrating. Beta carotene from plants can, I love that they highlighted can because they know it's probably not going to be all the way. Oh my God, RDAs, we're getting into MCGs, whatever MCGs are. Oh my goodness, beta carotene from plant foods. Is beta carotene safe? Oh my cripes. Beta carotene from plant foods can provide all the vitamin A you need, but it must be converted into retinol into your body, which is less efficient than consuming preformed retinol in animal foods. To optimize the conversion of beta carotene to vitamin A, eat yellow, orange, dark green vegetables, healthy fats. Okay. Vitamin A toxicity is not a concern from plant sources. Are you saying that I could get vitamin A toxicity from meat? Hold, please. Are you saying that I can get vitamin A toxicity from animal sources? Yes. Oh, jeez Louise. Vitaminosis. Hypervitaminosis A can occur when you consume it in excessive amounts. This is large quantities of vitamin A rich foods. Oh, is this what we're talking about with like you're eating too much liver? Okay, so what we're worried about is when people talk about you're eating too much liver, and so you're getting hypervitaminosis. So back to the question, does beta carotene from vegetables give you all the vitamin A you need? And snaps while I read. Okay, here's the dealio. It's the same thing as it always is. Yes, in theory, you should be able to get all the vitamin A you need from plants. But one, if your body has enough retinol, which is active in vitamin A, it's going to not absorb beta carotene to prevent vitamin A toxicity, which I think is interesting. I guess if you eat too much liver, you're forcing it to absorb the vitamin A. Like, why would it stop absorbing vitamin A from plants, but continue to absorb vitamin A from liver? To avoid toxicity. That seems like just a flaw in the science. I'm a scientist. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. Your body is not saying, oh, this came from a carrot, and so I will only absorb it until it's not toxic, but this came from animal liver, so I'll absorb it until it's not, I'll go past toxicity, because that just feels like a contradiction. But completely forgot what I was talking about. The answer is yes, you can get it. You can get enough vitamin A, but you might not be able to if your body doesn't want to keep absorbing it. Animal sources will have a higher absorption rate. Okay, fine.
Because you'll hear, and I have this Twitter argument all the time, there is no vitamin A in carrots or spinach whatsoever.
See, you didn't ask that question. Kenny. Is there vitamin A in spinach or carrots? Because he just said there is no vitamin A in spinach or carrots. And they're going to say, yes, there is. Get ready for it. Buckle up. I bet you chat's going to be like, yes. But they're an excellent form. But they provide a form of beta carotene, which is provitamin A. Beta carotene is a precursor that convert to retinol. Carrots are famously rich in biocarotene and spinach. So why? I don't want to mess up my study, but literally chat disagreed with you, Kenny.
Carrots contain 0 vitamin A. You can also ask the AI unit about that as well. What plants contain is beta carotene, which...
Pause. Yes, both spinach and carrots are an excellent source of vitamin A, but they provide it in the form of beta carotene. What on earth's the... Dr. Ken Berry, calling Dr. Ken Berry to the office. Dr. Ken, we need you in the office for a minute. What's the difference? Why are we saying vitamin A and beta carotene aren't the same thing when chat's like they're the same thing? They're saying yes, excellent source, but this is why this is frustrating. Nutrition is so frustrating.
Humans have to convert into retinol vitamin A. Now, some humans can do that okay, but many humans can only convert about 17%. And some humans, depending on the SNPs they have, they can barely convert any beta carotene into actual usable vitamin A. This is a huge problem for vegans. Number 6.
Got it. Okay, see, we're getting that base information, then we're digesting it, and then we have to hear what he's trying to say because it's not this simple. So what he's saying is the body converts beta carotene. Beta carotene is a precursor. Okay, this is GPT. Beta carotene is a precursor that the body can convert to retinol, the active form of vitamin A. So technically, no, spinach and carrots do not have vitamin A. I'm going to say, is there vitamin A in meat? Yes, some meats contain vitamin A, but not significant sources. Haha, all right, yes, meat does have vitamin A that does not need to be converted. All right, he's technically correct.
Can you get enough omega-3 fatty acids from a vegan diet?
Okay, that wasn't the question on the screen. Can you get enough, they're gonna say yes, omega-3 fatty acids on a vegan diet? Yes, you can, as long as you combine this food and this food and this food and this food. They don't want to say no to me. Can I just say it's okay if you say no to me, chat? Yes, you can absolutely get enough omega-3 fatty acids, but it requires careful attention to your food choices. As main sources of omega-3s on typical diet, fatty fish oils, animal products are off limits. There are 3 types of fatty acids. I tried studying this once and obviously forgot all about it. You can get the 3 types, blah, blah. Okay, snap while I read this. Okay, so basically, here's what we're talking about. There are 3 types of omega-3 fatty acids, right? Yes, the types of omega-3 fatty acids, there are 3 kinds: ALA, EPA, DHA. Don't worry about what those mean. ALA comes from plants. EPA comes from fish and algae. DHA comes from fish and algae, all right? Now, you can get ALA from plants and your body will convert ALA to EPA and DHA, though it's difficult for it to convert, which is why a lot of vegans need to supplement, because it can be difficult to convert ALA to EPA and DHA, and that's where the issue comes. Now, I also am implying, sort of elaborating that if your body takes ALA, converts it to EPA, DHA, then it probably prefers EPA and DHA. So this is another situation of, yes, you can get what you need. You probably need to supplement because you may not, depending on how your body digests the nutrients. But if your body had to go off of what it prefers EPA and DHA. I do not know if your body, I can't tell really easily if your body actually wants ALA, because it's going to just convert the ALA to the EPA and the DHA. So there's that. How does Ken interpret this?
The answer is absolutely not. And you're like, but I heard that flax seeds and walnuts were a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. They're a great source of ALA.
I'm laughing because I just love that he's like, the answer's absolutely not. When GPT is like, yes, absolutely yes.
They're not a great source of DHA or EPA, which are the actual omega-3 fatty acids the human body can use and needs.
Okay.
Some people, again, can convert ALA into EPA and DHA, but very many people, if they have the wrong SNPs in their genetic code, are very poor converters. Number 7 is the iron from spinach, just as good as the iron from red meat.
Ah!
Many vegans would say, yes, absolutely, I know that's
All right. Is the iron from spinach just as good as the iron from red meat? Thinking, I'm thinking, da 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 da. Iron in spinach and iron in red meat are valuable sources of essential mineral, but there are some important differences by how your body absorbs them, because that's the entire conversation that we're having. Each of them have them, but some of them absorb and some of them do not, and it's easier to absorb from animal products. Oh, I'm a little tired of this. Heme iron. Heme iron is found in animal products like red meat. Okay, non-heme iron is found in plant-based foods. Okay, heme iron is better absorption. Shocker of the century. Accounts for 40 to 50% of the iron in red meat and is absorbed at a rate of 15-35%, which is significantly higher than heme iron, which can only... The absorption rate of non-heme iron is around 22 to 20%. That's a huge difference. That's like you might absorb nothing, or you might absorb a little. It's like you could absorb a good amount, or you could absorb nothing. Like, at least, I mean, the difference between 15 and 35 is still, actually, now that I look at it, they're almost the same amount of percentage difference. So I guess you're getting a higher chance of absorption, but the difference is still, like 15 to 35 is still 20% difference, and technically the 2 to 20% is an 18% difference. So maybe the non-heme iron actually does absorb better. Sorry guys, I'm kidding. I'm getting a little punch drunk. Heme irons absorb more efficiently. Non-heme iron is not. Oxalates. They brought up the oxalates. So oxalates can reduce spinach's absorption. So it can provide iron, but your body may not be able to take it in because of oxalates. If you're relying on plant sources of iron like spinach, you can increase absorption by pairing them with vitamin C, which would make a whole lot of sense for why carnivores aren't getting scurvy. I'm connecting two things that maybe shouldn't be connected, but they say you should have vitamin C so you don't get scurvy, but maybe vitamin C helps you absorb other things that you need. So if you don't have the vitamin C, you're not absorbing the other things that you need, where with meat, you are absorbing them, and so you do not need that vitamin C conduit. Maybe that's what's going on. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, eat iron-rich plants foods, spinach, lentils, beans, yep. And vitamin C foods, citrus, bell peppers. If you're concerned about iron, you might want to take an iron supplement. Okay, cool. All right, Ken.
Open up ChatGPT or one of the others and type this question in. What you'll find is that the non-heme iron that occurs in plants like spinach is not nearly as well absorbed or as
all right,
usable
we understood.
As heme iron that's found in red meat and other
heme iron.
There are many also compounds in plants like phytates, oxalates, lectins.
Lectins.
The absorption that actually bind to the non-heme iron and prevent your body from absorbing it. So although it is true, spinach is full of iron atoms locked up in non-heme molecules that are bound with oxalates, lectins, and phytates. And so most people can only get about 5% of the actual iron in spinach out of the spinach when they eat it. Their body.
I want to just make a quick distinction because I had to make this distinction for myself. And if you get a little confused about, like, this is just simplifying the concept of spinach having the nutrients. It's like, okay, we take the spinach, we put it under, this is completely, do not use this as an example. I'm just trying to give you a visual. If you can put it under a microscope, dissect it, let's say you could see the nutrients under a microscope. You can't. Don't tell people you can do that. But if you could, you'd be able to see that there's a ton of iron inside of that plant. But what's going on is that when you eat that plant, because of the chemicals in the spinach, like the oxalates and the lectins and things, because of that, we can't get those iron molecules absorbed into our body. So that's what the distinction they're making here. And I'm sharing it because it literally started to make sense to me in the last 2 weeks. I was like, oh, these foods may have in their chemical compounds the nutrients that we need, but because of other factors like other chemical compounds in it, we aren't able to digest it and absorb it. Whereas in the meats, there's no blocks there that are stopping us from digesting and absorbing it. Okay, keep talking, Kenny.
Body just doesn't have access to it. Number 8, plant-based diets are the best diets for your hormones, your hormone balance.
Oh, I don't know anything about hormones. It can be great, but it depends on how it's structured and your individual unique needs and your lifestyle factors. Everything. That's the whole thing. That's like the big difference. It's like, yes, it can be great as long as you structure it properly. Okay, snap, hold on. Okay, actually, this is interesting. I think they are actually saying that it is not the ideal for hormone management because you have to do so much planning. So like where certain foods can help increase estrogen, other foods can, can hurt your consumption of, basically it's everything that we've been saying before. Some foods are going to, yes, be helpful, but you have to be very structured, and there's a lot of monitoring, and there's a lot of making sure you're getting what you need, and you may need supplementation.
If you remember in What the Health, they talked about a taco study where men's testosterone just tanked if they ate a burrito or a taco with meat in it versus just a bean burrito or bean taco. This is completely and verifiably false. It is demonstrably true that a diet that contains meat and other animal products will actually help balance your hormones and help raise your testosterone, whether you're a man or a woman. It's not going to raise it to an unhealthy level.
I do want to throw in that I don't know where the conversation is at with, what's his name? Paul Saladino. Paul Saladino said that it affected his testosterone poorly at a certain point, but I also wonder if it was a liver problem. But anyway, I'm just saying, I personally found my hormones to do much better on this diet than it ever did on a vegetarian, but I was not doing the rigorous work that they are saying you need to do in order to be optimized. I was not doing that. So I feel like really the conversation we're having here is that if you need to do this through plants, it's not ideal if you're not ready to put in an enormous amount of effort. Anyway, keep talking, Ken.
It's just going to raise it back up into the optimal level.
Yeah.
This is verifiable. Number 9, do I need to eat fiber to feed my microbiome? And will my microbiome die if I don't eat any fiber?
That's 2 questions. I think I know the answer to it, though. I think the answer is no, you don't need it, but it helps. It said yes. Yes, fiber is crucial for feeding your microbiome, and a lack of fiber in your diet can negatively affect gut health and microbiome diversity. However, your microbiome won't die. You'll just have a less diverse, less healthy microbiome. Cripes. Bro, it's saying that... Okay. So what GPT is saying to me sounds like, 1, they say yes, you do need it, because if you don't have fiber, your microbiome, different types of gut bacteria. So if you have like a lot of different, like if you've got a city and you've got a bunch of different people running around, if you don't give the city fiber, some of those people are going to die off. So it's like if you've got a city full of, there's mailmen and garbage men and pickpockets and policemen, they're in your city. The city has an abundance of fiber. All 4 categories of these people will exist, potentially. But if you take away the fiber, the policemen may die out, and the pickpockets may grow. So the good bacteria may die out, and the bad bacteria may grow. So the fiber helps keep that even. There is a part of this that's talking about that it may affect insulin sensitivity, which would contribute to weight gain and increase for type 2 diabetes. This is indicating to me that this information is based on a carbohydrate dense or a higher carbohydrate diet, because the weight gain in type 2 diabetes should not be happening if you're on a lower carbohydrate diet. So I would say the studies that this is based off of are probably studies where people are eating a mixed diet, and maybe the fiber is important if you are eating a mixed diet. So again, it's a little different when you're not eating a mixed diet. You will survive, it's fine, but you may end up having long-term issues like immune system regulation, hormonal balance, your mental health might struggle. Again, this feels to be a mixed diet problem. I don't even know how Ken is going to explain this to me.
Many people believe this is true and they stake their life on it. This is completely false. Your microbiome will not only survive,
GPT disagrees.
it will thrive on a meat-heavy or a meat-only diet.
That's not the question that we asked GPT.
This has been verified by thousands of carnivores who have sent in a stool sample and had their microbiome analyzed by a neutral third-party lab. There's no truth in this whatsoever. Fiber is not essential. You don't need it. Neither does your microbiome. Number 10, does a plant-based diet alkalinize my body? Or
I'm skipping that question. I don't even know what alkalinize means.
conversely, does a meat-heavy or meat-only diet make my body acidic?
Okay, never mind. I'm not skipping it. I'm assuming what he's saying here is that my whole body will be filled with acid. It can lead to a more acidic environment for the body, but it's important to clarify what that means. Okay, so you've got foods that are acid producing and there are foods that are alkaline. I'm saying this wrong, but some are acidic, some are alkaline. You want a balance of those two in order to keep things even. Meat is going to increase acidity in your body, but your body can neutralize it, so it can provide that alkaline element through the kidneys and other mechanisms in the body and remain stable. One thing that in here they do say is that it's a debated concept. So science is not clear on the answer to this question. Some people think that it's extremely important, some people don't. And we keep coming back to this. It's like, well, maybe we don't keep coming back in this video, but I always come to this when I'm listening to carnivore things. Something is happening in the carnivores that we need to study. We need to pay attention to it, because if we don't study it, we can't figure out why these people are not having the adverse reactions they should be having based on what the science is telling us. Ken, explain it to us.
How many times have you heard that?
I haven't.
Keep in mind, you hear this from well-intentioned, well-meaning vegans. They believe this to be true, and they're trying to help you improve your health. But this is absolutely false. So then the question becomes, what part of my body becomes acidic if I eat a carnivore diet? What part of my body
Your urine?
becomes alkaline if I eat a plant-based diet? The answer is your urine, and only your urine, because your kidneys are one of the organs that is used extensively by your body. The lungs are the other. That basic
GPT agrees. Your blood is not going to become acidic. It's going to make your urine acidic. GPT agreed with that.
protect your pH balance of your blood, of your intracellular fluid, and your extracellular fluid. Number 11, does eating red meat cause inflammation in my body?
No, carbohydrates causes inflammation. I'm sorry, I'm using my bias, I don't know. Yes, eating red meat, particularly processed red meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, can contribute to inflammation in your body, but the degree to, I love it, they always say yes, and he's like, absolutely not, but it's like, no, they do, okay. Beef and lamb are high in that acid. Saturated fats suggest some research suggests that excessive saturated fats promotes inflammation, but we're dealing with that. People are no longer sold on that, and we need to have a discussion. It can affect arterial health, leading to greater risk of heart disease, but then how come Eisenhower had so many heart attacks? Cooked at high temperatures. Oh, now we're talking about if it's cooked at high temperatures. So the people who are like, I don't, char my meat because that'll end in, yeah, okay. Heme iron in excess, oxidative stress, processed meats, bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli meats cause inflammation due to nitrates and nitrates. Grass-fed, blah, 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 blah. In summary, okay. Part of the argument is the saturated fat argument, which we know is going through its own people not believing it. So we throw that one out. Grass-fed versus pasture-raised, changing the omegas. Again, okay. Highly processed meats, that's not technically about the meat, it's about the nitrates, the sodium, and the preservatives. Meat cooked at high temperatures, okay, fine. Not exactly the meat, it's how you cook the meat, so it's not really the meat that's the problem. The meat does not seem to be the problem, or if people think it's the problem, it's debated. All right, Ken, what do you got?
Just like I said earlier about your body's fluids pH, you cannot eat enough red meat, even ultra-processed red meat, to cause inflammation in your body. Meat is the most uninflammatory food that a human being can eat. Now, if it's an ultra-processed meat and contains lots of things that are not meat, like flour,
Like we were saying.
wheat, like soybean, like
It's about the
sugar,
additives.
like starch fillers, then yeah, that might cause some inflammation. But again, it's not the meat doing that. It's the plant things that were added to the meat to make it ultra-processed and make it much cheaper for resale. Number 12, are vegan diets superior?
No, I don't think that. But, yeah, so he basically agreed that some of it is not an agreement because he's talking about that it's debated, but that's the whole thing. This is... GPT is like, yes, it is, but then it's like, but it's debated and we're not 100% sure. And there's so much reading between the lines that you have to do. The question, whether it's a complex question and it depends on several factors, individual needs, nutrient, yeah. I don't even need to read this. I know what they're saying. They're saying that you need to balance really well all the things that are going on. You have to pay a lot of attention. Oh, they're even talking about social and psychological stress. There is so much information here. Conclusion, a well-planned diet. Basically, the ultimate diet for them is the one that's balanced and rich in nutrients. You've got to make sure you're getting enough fats and, yep.
For mental health. There are many, many influencers out there that will say, oh yes, absolutely. But here's the problem with that. Remember those vitamins and minerals and other essential or conditionally essential things I talked about earlier, like B12, DHA, EPA, cholesterol? Your brain needs all those things to function properly, okay? Your brain also needs a great source of
fat. Yep, your brain needs fat.
And most plants are not a good source of fat.
All right.
This is why when we have someone with mental health disorders who's currently eating a vegan diet convert to a carnivore diet, they invariably report that their mental health condition improves greatly.
That's me.
But wait. Number 13, won't I live longer if I eat a vegan diet than if I eat a meat-based diet or a diet that contains meat? Oh.
Populative, well-balanced, overall lifestyle, genetic, environmental factors. Yeah, you can get hit by a bus. Your vegan diet's not going to make it easier or harder to get hit by a bus. Though, if it affects your mental health and you have better mental health and you can see the bus better, maybe. Okay, heart disease. The studies consistently show that plant-based diet lowers your cardiovascular disease, except that's such a mess. That's just such a mess. And... we're not getting into that, GPT. Your information is not what I want to hear. Cancer. Vegan diets high in fruits, vegetables, whole grains protect against certain types of cancer. Lower risk of colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer. The World Health Organization has classified processed meats as carcinogenic. I'm not even playing with the World Health Organization. Diabetes. One in whole plant foods have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity. Not sold on that one. And again, this is my bias coming through because I'm at the end of what are we at? Fucking an hour and a half? How long has this been? I've been sitting here for 2 hours now. Nobody has the time to do this research. This is why everyone's just regurgitating information. I just get very frustrated because it's we all have to play this my science is better than your science game. And at the end of the day, it's how about I just feel really good on how I'm eating, and this seems to be making my life better, and maybe I'm making a huge mistake and one day I'm going to end up with red meat based cancer, but at the moment every day today is better for me when I do this. And so let's stop playing my science versus your science, because I'm going to be 100 with you. None of us have the science to prove what we want to prove. We all just think our science is better, and it's so freaking frustrating. And I promise, anybody who comes up to you and they're like, yeah, but you need blah, blah, blah to survive. It's dude, take some time and research it. Tell me 100% for sure. Give me your facts. Give me everything. You won't, because we're just repeating information. You can tell I'm getting very frustrated. What was even the question? Will I live? I'm not indulging this question. Ken, answer it, and I'm moving on.
Everybody thinks this is proven because of the blue zones.
Oh. Dude, one day I'm going to sit down and study the frickin' blue zones, okay? Because I'm tired. It's just blue. Keep talking, Ken.
You believe that the blue zones mythology is true? Just ask ChatGPT or your favorite AI, what are all the things, what are all the assumptions that the blue zones author made? And how have these things been disproven?
Dude, question for another day. That sounds like a deep dive that would be fun and frustrating.
And I think Dan Dietmer did this with good intentions. I think he believes in a plant-based diet.
They do.
But he cherry-picked all his data. He cherry-picked the places he went. He cherry-picked the people he talked to.
That's the thing. We keep fighting with each other like we're being bad people. We're just trying to save the world. Most people, the amount of people that are trying to destroy humankind is like this much compared to this many people that are trying to save it. And so all these people who are on vegan diets, who are on carnivore diets, they are trying to be good people. So let's not be dickheads to each other like, oh, you're trying to be a bad person. They're not. Their information is correct, isn't correct, or their information is flawed, but it doesn't mean they're trying to kill you. There are very few people that are actually trying to hurt humankind and control us in negative ways, and that's a completely different conversation. Keep talking.
Number 14, does B12 actually come from the soil, not from meat?
What? Oh, are they saying that not meat? Are they saying that because the cows eat grass and so eat soil, B12 goes into their body that way? Is that this argument? Are we eating dirt? What's happening? Vitamin D is not actually, not vitamin D, vitamin B12 is not actually produced by animals, but rather bacteria that live in the soil and in the digestive tract of the animals. It's an important distinction when discussing natural sources of B12 and why consuming animal products get it while those on plant-based are risk. Oh, so what it's saying is this distinction is important because it causes issues with plant-based. Oh, hold please. Okay, so plants, animals eat soil or drink water that brings in the bacteria that creates the B12 in their body, I think is what it's trying to say. Plants, on the other hand, because of modern farming, a lot of the B12 that would naturally occur in plant foods is stripped away. And so maybe the argument from the vegans is that we're doing the work that the animal's bacteria would be doing. So like if a cow is eating soil and getting the B12 from the bacteria, we're eating the things and getting the B12 from the bacteria and doing what the animals are supposed to be doing. Like the animal's the middleman. We're cutting out the middleman. And that's what they're saying. Is that what they're saying, Kenny? Can I call you Kenny?
Vegetables dirty. Won't I get plenty of vitamin B12?
Shut up. Are we really saying we need to eat veggies covered in dirt?
So this is false. B12 is actually made
He tapped on the table. He tapped on the table. He was holding back.
bacteria. And the reason that meat is so full of B12, is, especially in ruminants, is they're full of bacteria that make B12 and then their body absorbs it. Plants don't do that at all. No plant contains any vitamin B12 at all, anywhere on any continent of planet Earth. Maybe on other planets, but not on Earth. So
that sentence was not backed up, and I don't want to Google it. I don't want to GPT it right now, but that sentence that is no, I bet it's a distinction. I bet if the B12 comes to the bacteria, I bet his distinction is not that the B12 is directly in the plants. What his distinction is that there's something in the plants that creates the bacteria. Anyway, I'm not going into it. If we've learned nothing from today, it's that it's all about the distinction of what you're actually getting and how we're generalizing and confusing the issues.
You're willing to roll your vegetables around in dirt and poop and then eat them like that,
Shut up.
You can probably get enough B12 that way. But if you are like most people and you prefer your vegetables washed, then you're not going to get any B12 whatsoever.
You gotta eat dirt. Is that what you're saying?
Also, don't eat dirt. It's not good for you. God did make dirt, and dirt don't hurt, but just don't eat dirt.
God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt. I'm so happy he said that.
Take a supplement for B12. Just eat some meat. It's how we're designed.
What's the next one?
And finally, number 15.
Yeah.
Are plants the only source of antioxidants in the human diet?
Oh, like blueberries. Are plants the only source of... Oh, that doesn't sound like him at all. They make fun of me because the way I say carnivore diet. That's a direct Carnivore Ray quote. The way I say oil and carnivore diet. No, plants are not the only source. This is the first one where they legit said no. Ugh. Finally, we can just get a no. They're the richest source, okay? Are they the richest source because they contain it? Can we absorb it? Is that really why it's the richest source? Is it really the richest source? Smaller amounts in animal-based diets, organ meats, Plants also provide fiber, which is crucial to the microbiome. Fiber is like the big thing here, man. So no, you can get it. So he's going to say, no, they're absolutely not. You can absolutely get them from animal sources. But GBT is saying you can get them from animal sources, but it might not be the most effective use of your time.
Many people believe that you must eat your plants, your leafy greens, your rainbow of different colors of vegetables to get all the antioxidants you need. First of all, antioxidants are not essential, meaning that you can make your own.
Not the question we were asking.
And you don't need to get any from your diet. And you won't die if you don't eat any antioxidants in your diet. So does animal flesh, does that contain?
Don't say flesh. I don't like that word.
Why, yes, it does. It contains something called glutathione. You may have heard of that. It is the most powerful antioxidant in the world for human beings. Meat also contains taurine, carnosine, carnitine, and coenzyme Q10, all of which are excellent antioxidants.
Tapping the table because she's tired.
I hope that this video has helped you. If you are a vegan, please.
Camberry, please. Yes, this video has helped me. I hope it's helped you guys to sit with me for the last like 5 hours. This is how Ken helped me through my using this GPT experiment. What he helped me understand was a lot of these things that we say are general rules, like carrots and beta carotene, or carrots and vitamin A. There's actually a lot of more nuance to it. And animal diets are going to be much easier in terms of maintenance, nutritional maintenance. If you want an easier way to get your nutritional value, meat is an easier way to get nutritional value. Plants can give you nutritional value based on GPT, not based on Kenny here, but based on GPT. Plants can give you nutritional value, but it's going to take a lot of work. A lot of what he is saying, I think we did end up establishing, because a lot of times GPT did not agree with him outright, but then when you read the details, it did. So a lot of what he's saying, I would say, is correct. But to be able to say you can just do your own research and put this into GPT and it'll just prove it, there's actually some mental work that goes into it. And it is just reinforcing my feelings that when people just say, well, what you're doing is unhealthy because saturated fat, fill in the blank, it's like, I need to have some grace for you and the fact that I know you didn't do your own research, which like, that's its own thing. But like, I know you didn't sit here and read the studies because nobody has time to read all these studies. Nobody has time to do this detailed research. So we're all just throwing science around. And for people who are the normal humans just living their life and they're like, man, I want to try this out. I've weighed pros and cons. I'm willing to take the risk to try it out. If it's working for you at a certain point, let's just fall back on this is working for me. I don't feel sick like I used to feel sick. And that's what I come back to. That's why like I have become such a low carb not activist, but enthusiast. Activist is exhausting, but a low carb enthusiast and a low carb advocate is because, look, at the end of the day, this has helped me more than anything else. Like going on this carnivore diet, you could say correlation, causation. I think it's causation that one of the reasons I'm having one of the best years of my entire life is because the carnivore diet, something in this diet has made me feel happier and healthier than I've ever felt in my entire life. And at the end of the day, we can play science game. We can play whose science is better than, who's better than who. But at the end of the day, none of us have done extensive research, and a lot of the research is flawed, and a lot of the research is too convoluted and confusing. And if you are feeling like you are an inferior debater in this topic, like I was listening to an interview with a guy, he's like, this is really helping me, but you could tell he was so self-conscious because of how he couldn't scientifically back up his point. Just remember that like everyone else who thinks they can scientifically back up their point, that are normies like you are, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just believing what everybody else is believing. So that's what this has given me. I'm glad that I did this work. I'm glad that I did this and you didn't have to. Not that I don't want you to do your own research, but like I'm sitting here, it's like probably been 3 hours, guys. I had to do so much sitting here and reading, and like I at least have some experience reading medical text or medical investigative text. so that I'm getting used to how these texts are worded and I know some of the words. But like if you were coming at this knowing nothing, this would be exhausting and infuriating, and I'm already adrenaline at the top, and this is decaf coffee that I'm drinking here. Anyway, this is not a bashing Ken Berry video. I love Dr. Ken Berry. He has been an inspiration for me. He was a big factor in why I started doing this diet. I don't think it's as simple as this video makes it seem. And I think he knows that. And that's all right. That's fine. It's not a big deal. So that's my video. Thank you all for spending hours and hours and hours with me. If you were at the end, put some red meat emojis in the description, because I would just love to know if anybody made it to the end. Even if there's only one there, somebody made it to the end of this. Very helpful for me. I hope it was helpful for you. And maybe we'll look at the blue zones one day if I'm not exhausted. You know, if this video does well, maybe I'll do that blue zone research he tells you to do, because there's just, if I had all the time in the world and all of like, if I had an extra 4 hours every day to just do research, I would sit here and fact check so many of these videos and so many of these arguments. And I would read these studies and say, okay, let's get to know the blue zones. Let's get to know the China study. I would really spend time with this, because I think this is something that's super valuable. And also we normal people just can't do this in our everyday lives. We have to survive, you know? So at the moment it's like, look, this works for me. And I'm just gonna have to trust that the nutrition is okay, because nutrition is such a flawed system. It's such a flawed study. It's such a flawed field of science. The more I get into it, the more I'm gonna leave you with my favorite quotation. This is the last thing I'm going to say. If you take nothing away, hear this. A good scientist wonders at night if he's wrong. A bad scientist knows he's right. Nobody knows they're right. And if they say they're right 100%, you should wonder where the flaw in their argument is. Nutrition is the biggest place where you find flaws like this. That's the end. Have a good day. If it's not a good day, I hope it's good enough. I need a break.